guys, welcome back to Fishing with Farmer. We're gonna go a little bit more over some jigs, but a jig company that is out of North Georgia that is probably one of the better quality jigs on the market today. My four favorite colors that they have, out of the number of colors that they have, but my four favorite colors for the North Georgia lakes. A little bit about the components of the jig and a lot of some of the trailers that I like to pair up with these certain colors. These guys are actually located. They're actually out of a North Georgia town here in between Jasper, Georgia, and Dawsonville, Georgia, on Highway 53. The owners of Fish North Georgia are the guys that run the True Grit Tackle bait company, and they make some really good quality jigs, really stout hooks, good quality weed guard, not too hard a weed guard, not too soft, and an almost near indestructible head for the paint. They make two different styles of jigs, or not styles of jigs, but your regular banded jig and what they call their tournament grade. It's a banded jig, hand-tied jig, and these things will last you 50 fish plus. I mean, these things are awesome. My first color is probably going to be their number one seller. It's their Fall Craw. Their Fall Craw, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's a light green pumpkin and pumpkin mix. This bait actually is a really good crawfish imitator. I like to pair that up with some type of chunk. This is actually a Bass Reaper cadaver chunk. It pairs up really well with this Fall Craw and the pumpkin. Add a little orange, so you're seeing in the springtime when the crawfish have a little more red or orange in them. That seems to do really well, and you're not looking for a lot of action. I pair it up with some type of chunk. I like an orange chunk in the spring, or I'll pair it up with some type of beaver style bait after pre-spawn or post-spawn. This is actually a Bass Reaper Contagion. It works really well on a Fall Craw as well. This is in their green pumpkin color. I usually rip that off about the fifth ring down and roll it up on there. They're a little more finicky, but they still want some movement to the bait, I'll put on some type of grub. This is the Gary Yamamoto Smoke, or the cinnamon. I like the cinnamon really well on the Fall Craw. And if I'm looking for a lot of kick in the water in the hot months, they're wanting a lot of action, I'll go with the Bass Reaper Coffin Craw. The Bass Reaper Coffin Craw has a lot of kick on these craws as it goes down. It's a really good bait in the pre-spawn, post-spawn, and all the way through the dog days of summer when they're wanting a lot of action, when that bite is an action bite or a reaction bite. That's my first one. My second one is actually a deep water color jig for me. It is not a black and blue, even though when you get down into that 25-30 foot water, your colors really start to kind of don't matter, except for your blues, your purples, your blacks, your really dark colors that have a lot of contrast. But that's why I like their next jig. It's the Chestnut jig. It is a dark brown, so if I still want to fish a little shallow, I can fish shallow with that natural color, but I've also got a dark color that shows more contrast in deep water or in low light conditions. I also like to pair that up with a with a coffin craw, especially on low light days, looking for some action. The contagion as well. If I'm flipping around, let's say like Lake Notley, Notley certain times of the year is really dingy and dirty up in some creeks, or you've got like Lake Altoona up past the S curves, up past Victoria, and Little River where it starts to get dirty up there, and flipping these around trees, these shallow water trees, I've done really well with the Chestnut jig. I like to pair that, like I said, the contagion, the coffin craw, and some type of grub. I'll also put some type of chunk on there if I'm flipping a lot. Third color is actually their PB&J, but it's called Jammer. The Jammer. I really like their PB&J or their Jammer because the purple is spread out throughout the entire jig. It's not just in one spot like a lot of jig companies have it down the back, or they'll have it down the front, or they'll come and have it out both sides, but this one's actually spread out through the entire jig. This is my cold water jig. When everything's slow, I'll pair it up with some type of dark trailer, a black and blue, cinnamon and purple, that doesn't have a lot of movement, or a green pumpkin chunk. This is usually my cold water. When the water gets below 56, 55, that's usually when I'll go to the Jammer, trying to mimic those crawfish trying to bury up in those holes, and they ain't got a lot of color to them. They seem to be turning a darker color towards the winter time. And the fourth color was actually a custom made jig that me and Danny, one of the owners of True Grit, came up with. It's more of a natural color jig for the North Georgia area. It's a dark green pumpkin mixed with like a whiskey green and a whiskey color. It's just a really natural looking jig. I can mimic bluegill, crawfish. Up north you can mimic gobies. It's just a really natural looking bait. You got the light bottom for like the belly, and then you got the dark top. So you can pair that up with just about any trailer you want and change the color, or change your what you're targeting really. Crawfish, I can throw a green pumpkin on there and have a crawfish style bait. Throw a little orange in there, I can swim it and it'd be a bluegill style bait. The smoke works really well in it as well. Makes it a little more have a little more contrast to the jig. But in these clear water lakes up here, especially in the summer months when the fish are being really finicky about the colors, about what they bite, this is why me and Danny come up with this jig. And they actually called it the Farmer Special, which by no means is anything to do with me, this is actually my go-to jig right now. And from about May all the way into September, October, this is the jig that I throw, just for the simple fact because I'm looking for the most natural bait that I can throw, and I can add different trailers to it to change what I want to mimic. Those are my 4 favorite that True Grit makes. They make some really good colors. Other than that, they've got their locust bug. It's a really good color. The Widowmaker is another natural jig, but it's got a lot of green flake in it that these spot bass seem to love. And they actually make some swim jigs now, and I really like to fish swim jigs, but they make some really good quality send jigs as well. Same painted heads. You bounce these things off of anything and they'll hardly chip. But these guys know how to make a great jig. Now You can find these jigs either at their website, the True Grit website, www.truegrit.com, or on Fish North Georgia. It's www.fishnorthgeorgia.com, or the Facebook page Fish North Georgia. You can find these jigs. I'll link the jig colors that I went over today in the bio, and I will also link the True Grit website and the Fish North Georgia website on there as well. So if you want to give them a visit, if you're up in North Georgia near Lake Lanier or Carter's Lake or Altoona, you can swing by and give Danny them just give them a hello. There's some great guys in there. So thank y'all for listening. Y'all have a great day.